Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Hey
Welcome to
y'all.
another episode of Mind Control. I am your captain, Coach Nita Watson, and the fabulous Glamorous up there popping his wig. Tell us
Ah,
what we got.
it's your boy Caleb Rashad.
Oh, honey, and who we got to the bottom of us?
Nisha Mishley.
Nisha Michelet. Welcome to our viewers, our subscribers. Those of you who accidentally just chimed in, I am a firm believer that, baby, nothing happens by accident. Everything is meant to be. We are still in our pilot test run to see how cohesive we're going to be with going live. Today's and tonight's episode, let me get a small drum roll. As we know, Nisha's snacking on the side. That's free. As we know, it is back to school season, right? So with back to school season, we're gonna entitle this "Going Back to School." Back to school, and I
Back
come from an era.
to life.
I come from an era where
Hey.
we would be so excited to go back to school that we would have our school clothes laid out 2 3 days before. We didn't even
Laid out and
Now
ready to
school now
go.
school clothes.
school.
Yeah,
Fashion
that
is
was
okay. So
going back to school shopping.
did y'all
Mhm.
have to wear uniforms?
I always wanted to, but no.
I
Mm-mm.
had
I
to wear
only had to wear
uniforms.
uniforms at one school, and then I moved to a different city. So
I
after
wore
that, I didn't
uniforms
have
for
to.
my whole elementary career, my whole high school career.
Oh wow.
So really, we had to find a way to zhuzh up our uniforms because we had
And I bet.
certain restrictions where of course we couldn't wear well we all we could wear was red, black, white polo shirts, khaki pants, khaki shorts.
Look
My
like you.
high school had a
So
problem with hoodies. Eventually, we couldn't wear
so no
hoodies to school.
logos.
No logos. So really, it was the only piece that you could really stunt on people was your shoes. Your shoe game got to be on point.
What about jewelry?
Jewelry, yeah, yeah.
I-
But for me, it was shoes. For me,
And to this day, for me, it's still shoes. Those of you who are just joining us, we're going to be hitting it from pretty much all these different angles of back to school. And one of the angles that I want to talk about is the funding and budget cutting that has happened within our districts that has really caused there to be little or no financial support. I was speaking with my cousin earlier, and she
Yeah,
was
thanks a lot, Donald Trump.
right. She was explaining to me how if she didn't work at the school where she works at, that my nieces would have to be obligated to walk because there wasn't enough funding to send the buses over in their direction, right? So that
walking to school is crazy.
Yeah.
and my nieces are in Houston, Texas, the world full
Oh
of
my
heat,
God.
In the heat,
tornadoes. We just don't know.
it's 7 p.m. Friday,
It,
95 degrees.
I just learned what that meant. Y'all know my coolness. Oh my God, that's a song. Um,
No,
the other thing that I want us to kind of
Coach,
time
you're embarrassing us.
is looking at it from a perspective, where is the drive for young people to go back to school? I'm also looking at it from a perspective of on campus violence that's been happening. I saw a tweet a few weeks ago. Literally, the first week of school, there was a knockout, drag out fight. So for me,
knockout drag.
you held that aggression all the way through the summer until soon as school started back, like Caleb said, it's on site.
It's on site, baby.
It's on site. I'm also looking at it from a perspective of there's not a lot of young people and students that have that tenacious drive to want to go back to school. One of my athletes, he had missed the first few days of school. That's when you would really stunt on holes. You know, you got your first, before you had to repeat your outfits and then mesh them, you had
Right,
4 weeks of outfits, right?
right.
Also had getting to know your teachers and looking at the classes, making sure that you had classes with your peers and all of this underlying excitement, where that to me personally as a professional, I'm noticing that it has gone completely out of the window. That back to school vibe. I'm
Mm.
also looking at it from a perspective, you have a lot of parents that we cannot blame them, but a lot of parents are switching over to homeschooling their students. And I get it. I get it from a safety perspective. I get it from a protective measure. But as a clinician, I look at it, if there wasn't a violent type of realm, to me, going back to school helped with your social skills. It helped with your team building skills because you had to kind of involve yourself with different people. I also know too, and there's no shade to parents, but it gave parents a break because they
Right.
all summer long.
Hey, you
Hmm.
got school in the morning. Let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed. Your grandmama was up, pressing your edges, laying you down, getting your hair all pressed
No,
up.
you can't go to your friend's house. It's a school night.
You
I
have
heard about that a lot during the pandemic when, kids were at home and they had to hop on their Zoom. Yeah, so parents wasn't getting that break. Yeah,
yeah,
back to school was definitely
Right,
the
Katie.
event.
really was, Kate.
Yeah.
It was
Especially that
The
first week of school, like that's crucial. Like
hmm
you were saying, like you got your outfits, you got your see who was
I
in your
think
classroom.
I honestly think that maybe social media has a lot to do with it. You see a lot of kids honestly being able to go viral and get famous, internet famous, and make a lot of money on the internet like very early. So I feel like maybe there's this kind of I don't know, this indignation towards school, like maybe people feel like they don't really need it anymore. And then, couple that with mass shootings and that kind of thing. I could see how people are. I know for me, like I always starting to homeschool my kid if ever and whenever I have them. I'm like, I'm not putting my babies in public school.
crazy because public school used to be the thing. So like
Yeah.
cousins went
I
to the
grew up in public school. That's
yeah,
Right, same. I loved going to school.
your aunties went to this school, your mama and them went to this school. I'm
right.
also
Everybody in the city goes to the same school.
yes, I'm also looking at it from a perspective
Your neighbors, your neighborhood kids.
of burnout and compassion fatigue from our instructors. You have teachers
Mm.
to hell with this.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
get
I
they don't
see a
get paid
lot of
enough to deal with what they have to deal with too.
I've been seeing a lot of like TikTok teachers. Like I've been on teacher
Same.
TikTok
We were just
lately.
talking about one of those teachers
Yeah.
that was getting their hair done or something at the school.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, that one. He got
Mhm.
fired, didn't he?
I think they
Yeah,
both
I think he got fired and then got rehired.
yeah.
Oh, he got rehired.
Mm-hmm.
Homeschool
Amanda
has
said,
evolved. It's not what it used to be. What did it
yeah.
used to be? I mean, what cuz
Because
I
I used
think
to think the kids that were homeschooled were like, oh, you're probably gonna be weird. You don't have any
yeah,
friends.
Yeah.
That's the
like they're
old.
antisocial. But
Yeah,
I think I
that's
agree with Amanda because I've heard like even if you homeschool a kid, there's like a I guess like an institution that you can take them to socialize them and they can interact with
yeah, and there's
other
still
homeschool
like different
kids.
events that you can like enroll them in
Yes,
with other
exactly.
homeschool kids. Like,
So
yeah,
it's not like, I don't know. I think
it's
people
not like a
back in the
jail
day thought it
cell
was
at
like a
home.
or
Like,
thought it was like a cult. Like if you were homeschooled, you were probably a part of a cult or
right, right.
Or
something.
we weren't on the same educational level as
That's
other
true.
kids. She said they
Mhm.
attend events, sometimes classes with other kids. They've
Yep.
also been able to incorporate field trips. I don't know about y'all, but I used to get excited about going on field trips.
I loved field trips.
I still take my youth on field trips every month. We didn't go on ice skating over the summer. We went to Knott's. We're going to dinner. We've done so many different things. I also look at it where students don't really feel, and I think as you mentioned, Nisha, that students don't really feel that education is as hyped as it used to be because
Yeah.
it go
Or
viral
necessary.
or necessary, right? If I
Mhm.
But the
viral,
kids got to go to school.
then but it's not the same. You also see where the burnout from administrators is now being projected onto students, where you have instructors and teachers and admin who really don't want to be there. They have taken the
How
dis.
they fighting the kids, child.
I
But like on some like protecting themselves type shit, because kids are like crazy
Yeah,
nowadays.
they are.
Like,
I agree, Kayla. I don't think homeschool is bad either. I think it just gets a bad rap because it has like the stigmatization, but I feel like there can honestly be a lot of benefits to homeschool these days.
I
I
think me, if I whenever I have kids, this is me thinking in the future,
Mm-hmm.
but like this may change. My thinking may change over time, but I don't really want to be responsible. That's like a lot. Like you're gonna be your kid's teacher, so that's like
Yeah.
a
My
whole
thing was
nother.
like, my thing was feeling like I was robbing. My only hesitance about it is like feeling like I'm gonna rob them of like their school
The
experience, like
social,
going
yeah,
to
that's it.
prom and having a locker. I was so excited to have a
But it's
locker.
like, damn, I gotta be with you all day. I gotta be here with you all day.
Combination lock in your hand.
Right.
Right.
It was
They
one.
also have online and hybrid schools.
Yeah,
Online, okay. I don't know how I feel about online.
I know. It's kind of
Cause
impersonal.
you can just like cheat.
Chat
Google the
GPT.
answers.
But
Right.
they also have it. You see how we're streaming and these webcams, they have it now set up very proctor like,
That
where
too.
pretty much eyes are on you. The other way that I'm looking at it too is parents having to work multiple jobs or have multiple streams of income.
Hmm.
Sometimes I remember being, I don't know if y'all are probably too young, remember Payless Shoes. That's in a shameless
I
plug,
know
right?
about Payless. I know about Payless.
Come on
When,
now.
when you got Payless, you was embarrassed, but you kind of doctor up your fit a little bit. But I think there's been so much pressure on our caregivers and our parents to make sure kids have, you know, all these labels to go
The
back.
freshest, the flyest, everything, but
iPhones. They gotta
not
have
with this
like
economy,
they
child.
gotta have like the top notch like prom dress, like a prom entrance, and
Oh my God, the prom dresses
the
are
proms, the
crazy,
dresses,
man.
the cars, like
The
the
gowns,
shoots, the
man.
photo shoots.
It's like
Like,
a
is
red
this the
carpet
Met
event,
Gala?
like
Like, or is this a
right.
high school prom? Like, come on now.
Also seeing too, I don't know if you guys have been following slightly with politics, but they're trying to have these rules where they are making sure kids don't have their phones during school hours.
Mm.
I remember sneaking my pager and sneaking my Nokia phone, but now so much happening as far as safety.
Hey.
You almost have to send your
Hey.
fifth grader to school with a phone, but because
Yeah, I think it is a different time. I'm very conflicted about kids having self, which is another reason I feel like I should probably homeschool my kid because I just feel like I would have more. I don't want to say control, but they just have kids today. They just have way too much access to stuff, and it's just the world is getting scarier and scarier.
So
mm-hmm.
at what age do you give your child a phone?
I got mine at 13. So I feel like, I was on my way out of middle school and into high school. I feel like that's a reasonable age.
I want to say I got mine fifth fifth grade. Fifth grade,
Mm,
I got my first phone. It was one of
wow.
those Nokia slide ups.
I had a Nokia brick, and then after that I had one of the razors.
I remember getting excited just getting a damn house key.
not a
A cell phone, dog. We got a.
not a house key.
He was like, I made it. My grandmama gave me
I'm dead.
a man behind straight home. The other way that I'm looking at it too is from a mental health perspective, the depression rate that has
Oh
increased,
yeah, kids are depressed.
the depression levels, the self harm levels, the anxiety
Mhm.
levels, have really grown so astronomically
Yeah.
Cause
that
they're dealing with a lot. I hate seeing teen movies these days because I feel like I'm becoming one of those like, oh, I miss the good old days
For
like type of
real.
people. Cause I remember my age of like high school.
yeah.
It was already bad enough and kids were already like mean and brutal then, but now there's like this whole other element when you add in like cyberbullying and people being able to like post pictures of you or like make comments about you, and then you got to see these people at school the next day. Like, I would hate that. I would hate going to school now.
Mhm. I
And
also
I kind of grew up in like the beginning
The early
of that.
stages. I was
The
leaving
whole
as that.
cyberbully thing. Yeah.
I was leaving as that I was all like coming to fruition. Like I had MySpace in high school And I literally got Facebook my senior year as I was on my way out. I was graduating high school and on my way to college. So literally at the beginning. Same thing with Instagram. I joined Instagram in like 2011.
I joined Instagram 2000.
Having AOL, and that was
Oh,
after.
AIM.
Oh
After
wow, that's way before me, child.
there,
And the
now,
computer got to boot up and shit.
Yeah, AOL, like the dial up.
I'm a
And you
man.
know what's funny? I just recently learned what that
Oh my
was.
gosh. I felt
So
you made me feel so old when you were like, "What is this?"
what is that?
Hey.
Hey, talk
Those
to
of you who had just us, we
talk
are
to Rose. Oh,
yeah, we are doing an overview of back to school, and so when
Yeah.
we talk about
Exploring like the differences, like going back to school back in the day is like leaps and bounds different than what it is today.
yeah.
but remember too, before homeschooling became a thing, we weren't really open to knowing that there was resources. So when your mama or your auntie or your grandmama tried to help you with your homework, we've all seen the memes or the reels. What's two plus two? That's the type of support that we got.
That's why I can't be my child's teacher because that would literally be me.
Well, at least you look, at least you have self-awareness. Yeah, parents do tend to get frustrated easily
Because
when it comes
being a
to trying
teacher,
to cuz you know,
that's a
I love the
skill.
line where they're always like, you know this. You know this. Stop acting like you don't know this. You know this." It's like I actually don't. And
Like it takes
I'm gonna
a
need you to calm down.
it takes patience to
Yeah.
deal
Mhm.
with that. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I might not have it in me.
Could you
Well, look, you're self-aware and you're holding yourself accountable.
could you imagine being an educator and when we
Oh,
were in school, teachers were respected. Teachers were
Mhm.
present.
right.
Yeah. Did you guys see that viral post about that one teacher who like fixes her classrooms up like super nice? Like she had like a proud family theme for her classroom and she goes all out and she DIYs all of it. She had like a Kim Possible theme. I feel like today more than ever kids need those teachers
Right.
who
Why am I
will
doing
go the
calculus
extra
in fifth grade,
mile.
girl?
Mhm,
Yeah, they need the teachers that will go the extra mile and actually show that they care. Like I feel like now more than ever we need that. That
mhm.
would be me. They doing hard stuff at a young age. Yes, they are.
So that's
I
what I was
can't be
saying.
I can't be
Calculus
nobody's
in the fifth
teacher.
grade, babe. I can't do it.
I
Why we
I
love
got
the AIM
alphabets in
days too,
math?
Kayla. I miss my AIM. I miss AIM chats.
I
Why do
also
we
What's
ain't got
aim?
chat rooms now?
remember looking
What's
at
aim?
Oh God, because Caleb,
the
stop.
messenger.
AOL Instant Messenger. Hello.
I don't know that. Like what?
It was like the little green little thing, and when it was dialing up, it'd go beep, beep. It's not like a fax
What
machine.
was your what was
Wait,
your
wait,
handle,
instant
Nita?
messenger though. So it was
Oh, you know
like,
what? I don't even remember.
wait, so
Actually,
Y'all
was it like
remember y'all?
DMs, like instant messages, like?
Yeah, it was like so basically it was like a chat room. Like you could have friends, so you can instant message like your friends like back and
Oh,
forth.
like a
And
kick, like a kick. You remember kick?
I think it is I didn't have a kick,
You
but I
don't know
think
it?
it is a lot similar to
Now
that.
kick was a key, okay? I wasn't supposed to have no kick.
I think
They was
my I
doing some
think
stuff
my
on kick and
I think my name was like who pooed it or something. I always put like stupid stuff for my
yeah.
handles back in the day.
But no, back to respecting the teachers. Like, I remember I used to love. I remember teachers that I loved like back in that when I was in
Yeah,
school.
teachers when teachers make an impact, they like really, put an imprint on your heart and they stick
Like
with
I've
you
had teachers
forever.
that were kind of like parents, kind
yeah.
of
Mhm.
like, but at school because
Mhm.
I knew because I also had teachers that like knew my parents,
Yes.
and so
Oh
like
yeah,
I
'cause in
couldn't get
that
away
small
with
town you was living in, yeah, I'm
anything. I
sure.
couldn't get away with
Also
anything.
says a lot about the community aspect of where education and back to school vibes have gone. I never remember having teachers or schools request supplies that everyone has to share. Whatever your
Mhm.
mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your family sent you to school with, you better make that paper last for
Mhm.
I remember my mom. She was like, "Tell her this is your paper. This is your supplies. Don't share this with nobody."
I I just
I
remember
love school supplies. I don't know. I just always been obsessed with paper and journals and highlighters, pens, pencils.
Yeah,
And
I always had to be like very aesthetic with like decorating my binder and
Your
shit.
binder, and you had to like put a picture in the binder and
Right.
where you take your book and take an old brown paper bag and make you a book cover.
oh,
Ooh,
see, you going way back. You
look at
going way back where they could be
I
drawing
thought you
on
was
it
gonna
and
say
writing
make
on it.
a brown paper bag book bag or
Yes,
something.
I remember people doing that. Yep, I sure do.
the
But
other
Oh
that's like you
wow.
taking it back,
all the way.
You
back.
taking it back to horses and wheels and
Stop.
So
carts and
how
shit.
you feel?
She
Wow.
calling he calling you Oregon Trail.
It's a Oregon
I
Trail.
used to love her, but that's like when I tell you I gotta go deep in the depths of my memory because I was like early elementary school.
I also remember now they want stuff all year long. You're right, Rose.
You are so right.
Right, they really do.
And then the supplies are not cheap. Like you
No, they're not.
got supplies that were in accordance to your grade level. I
Mm-hmm.
remember buying a scientific calculator in the third grade.
Oh, I hate those things.
That was like high school, almost college. So for those of you who are just chiming in, we're honing in on the back to school season. We
Going
are talking
in.
about from fashion. We're talking about from even prom and how prom has even evolved. We're also looking at it from a financial perspective of budget cuts and not having enough resources, but we're also looking at it from a mental health and a safety perspective that can you send your kid back to school safely? Where is a child's drive to want to get up to go to school that day? Remember, we used to be pushing to try to get perfect attendance because you used to get little awards
Yeah.
for
You
perfect
like there was like incentive to come to
attendance.
school every
Mhm.
day.
I'm also looking at it to where, and Rose will tell you, we used to get excited to sit our school clothes out for the week. And you made sure that you didn't repeat any outfits until about the second or third week. So you took the jeans from week one and matched them with the shirt from week two, and then you
And then mix it up.
mix it up. Whereas now we're looking at it that there is a lot of pressure on kids to be fashionable,
And
to
don't want to wear the same thing twice, and you gotta have name brand. Like
wear
people
the
ain't got name brand money like that.
no. I remember it wasn't until I got to high school. I went to a prestigious high school, and I remember the students driving. And
Mm.
like, I'm talking like 10th grade. And I'm not talking like your grandmama's Nissan Datsun, right?
No station wagons.
No station wagons, W's. And I used to be like, my grandma
Yikes.
barely had enough to get us on the bus. You mean to tell me not only do y'all have a car, y'all got gas to put in this car?
Right. And y'all got a luxury car at that. Like
Luxury
what?
car, and it's not the family car. Like this is your car.
Right.
Also looking at
Right.
a perspective of so much built up aggression that has taken place on our school campuses outside of mass bang bangs. We're looking at it from a perspective of just on campus violence. You have back in the day, they used to be like, I'm waiting for you at the flagpole at 3 o'clock. That was every right. That was every boom.
Back in
Where
the day, yes. Word of mouth.
yeah, whereas now you can scroll up and see a school fight on your social media feed at any time.
Y'all think they be posting online, like posting when fights are gonna be on social media and stuff and sending it to people?
I think it just happens. You could just be walking down the block and then
I
bam.
mean, I
It be
grew up
on
in
site.
that. I grew up when World Star first started. Remember when World
Not
started?
World Star.
Yo,
School fights would be on World Star,
Mm,
and people would go viral. Like that's how people went viral for fighting at school.
yeah.
bring them to the
So,
Oh, Sharkeisha. Y'all remember Sharkeisha?
Keisha.
for my head.
Sharkeisha.
Again, for a lot of our viewers and subscribers, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We are honing in on the back to school time. I also remember being able to meet different teachers,
Kayla remembers.
being
Well,
able to
Keisha.
meet different teachers. But I also remember an era where teachers had some of the same jobs almost their entire career. You got
Yeah, they
teachers,
had tenure.
yeah, super tenure. You got
Hmm.
teachers now that be like, let me out. And they're,
Right.
Amanda.
But I've also seen a lot of like younger teachers now,
you know,
Yeah.
happy you
Teachers
said
seem
that.
very young nowadays. They seem
like in their
almost,
20s,
yeah, they
early
seem like they could be
20s.
the students' age sometimes. Sometimes I see
Right.
these viral videos and I'm like, these ain't students.
I posted a video not that long ago, and kudos to this principal. I forgot where it is, but he's being able to show his fashionistic side every day.
Mm.
And this is my principal who has like these Jordans or this or that. I remember, shout out to Ms. Nelson, one of my elementary teachers. I remember her just in her little long skirt and her shirt, and it was tucked in. She wore her glasses. Whereas now, you damn near have teachers with BBLs, and you be trying.
Oh Lord.
You be
I
Me
love
too.
seeing the
Me too.
I love seeing the viral videos of like teachers acting like the students and like dressing like the students. It gives me like a window into like what our, the state of our youth is today. There's another creator who she acts like teachers but like in different age groups. So she's always like the Gen X teachers be like, the millennial teachers be like, the Gen
Mhm.
Z teachers be like. I love it. I love seeing like the different like sociology of it all.
I agree with you, Kayla. I appreciate seeing teachers around my age. I used to think school staff was old.
Oh
Me too.
yeah,
It tends
totally agree. And a little out of touch sometimes.
the
Yeah, and I think younger teachers are able to kind of, I don't want to say relate, but
Just
I don't
connect and
know,
like level
yeah,
with
are
the
easier
kids
to connect
easier.
with. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Cause like they listen to the same music, so they can
Right,
incorporate
right.
songs in class, which
Like, look,
some parents
you
may
right
not like.
behind me.
But right,
You not too far behind me.
also
right,
pros and its cons because
Yeah.
there can be a realm of being common. Remember that term? People, your elders just say that don't get too common with me. And
Okay.
right.
as
You sound like a Gen X teacher.
I am open to connection. I am open to being able to relate. And no shade to younger instructors coming in, but you
Mhm.
round to where it's like, this ain't working for me. I'm about to go quit this job and work someplace else. So there wasn't that longevity that we used to see.
Yeah, and you do, you're dealing with kids, so there does have to be some level of like authority in order to manage multiple,
Right.
children.
And two, I think I've been the same size since I was about in sixth grade. And in sixth grade, I was considered tall. Now,
Yeah, those early growth spurts, and then no more. Then you just don't grow no more.
also have it to where the body makeup and the body structure of a lot of our students have really shifted. My cousin talked to Rose Innocent, shout out plug to her podcast. On her show last week, they were talking about young girls starting their menstrual cycles earlier
Hmm.
than before. At first, you were like between 13 and 14. Now it's 8, 9, and 10, to where
Stop.
the body chemistry has really shifted. I'm also seeing an influx in SA from
Mm.
instructors to children, whereas at first that was almost like unheard of.
Oh,
Whereas
that's so crazy.
now,
And there's like there's movies that kind of like
Yeah.
glamorize or romanticize it. I just finished reading this book. It was really crazy
mm,
where this teacher who was married to another teacher was engaging in SA, but the it's high school, so the teenager, she's all like, oh, we're so in love. She's,
Right.
Delulu. And the dude is engaging in SA with a younger student. Come to find out, by the end of the book, though, his wife was one of his students too. I was like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Like this is catastrophe.
I I don't even have no words.
Right,
Right. I don't even
right.
know what to say about it.
Listen, the state of our our current world is scary out there. It's a
Mhm.
it's a scary world.
Again, do we want to send our kids to
Right,
school?
right. That again, that's why I was like, I ain't sending my babies to no public school today. Not today. Not
And
not these public schools.
choose the
And
schooling route, just really, really hone in on resources to sharpen your school, your skill set. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
the whim and be like, I'm gonna really protect my kid and shelter my kid from this, and then your kid has this academic deficit.
Mm.
They have like this disconnectivity because we wanted to be all things to all men, women, and them, that we didn't think at sharpening our skill sets to be better instructors or educators to us, but also realizing if you're going to homeschool your child is to also make room for self-care, allowing them to be able
Yes.
to
Take a
separate
break.
break and separate church from state. Everything is not always that. And if you realize that this is not your strong suit, looking into the resources where they have, like Amanda said, some hybrid programs
Mm-hmm.
or programs, and y'all know the end goal for TSCL is to create the self-care lab school of wellness, the charter school. So that's my
Mm-hmm.
next plan. It's a goal that we're working on, my project. um,
Yes.
Period.
I want to be able to create an atmosphere where not all children are subjected to traditional school settings, and I think this
Yeah.
charter schools play a intricate role in our education.
Now, an upside to Kayla's point, she was saying in the chat earlier, an upside to homeschool is that you do tend to be able to complete your work quicker. So that is an upside. So yes, like take the self-care. If you are a parent who is engaging in the homeschooling full time, of course, do your self-care, take some time for yourself, take
Yeah.
some kid free time. But that is an upside, is that kids do tend to be able to finish their work quicker and have a lot more time available, to do other things, engage in other things. So that's one pro.
I have to agree with talk to Rose. It is very scary now. Again, if those of you who are just coming in, we're focusing on back to school. We're talking about the fashion. We're talking about the battling, as my grandmother would say. We're talking about all things pertaining to back to school, but also making back to school a vibe. Make sure you set that atmosphere. If you don't have time to get up and to cook for your kids or whatever, make sure that you make a balance and set aside that time to where your child and your student has an opportunity to feel empowered to want to go back to school. They may not have all the fancy things that everyone else has, but at least they feel somewhat excited or a part of some form of community. And students, those of you who are watching this, don't be afraid to get involved. Don't be afraid to acclimate yourself to the different programs on campus, the different clubs. If you're a sports player, don't be afraid to engage in different sports. I don't really have a takeaway. I wanted to put a camera on my son. Honey, that's what air tags is for. Air tags.
Hey, I seen this one girl.
Right. Put an air tag in your bag.
She did her daughter's hair and she put the air tag like in the hair somehow. Like, yeah, I was like, that's
Isn't
actually kind
that
of
Oh
smart.
wow.
that we live in such crazy times?
That you gotta
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Baby,
Right.
I remember parents working all day long and you still need to take your behind straight home from school, and you need to go to school and back. There wasn't no shortcuts and it didn't have to be tracked. You knew once you heard them keys jingling in that driveway, A took that meat out, you better have cleaned that bathroom. There was
Oh
just a
Lord.
right. Nisha's going all the way back, like, oh my God.
Yeah, you triggering some core
Like I
memories.
remember my parents wouldn't even let me ride with friends after school. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a
um,
latchkey kid, so we had to go straight home. We go to school and then when we come home, we go straight home and call mom and let her know that we made it home. Don't answer the phone. She has a secret way of calling, so we know it's her. Don't answer the door to nobody. Like we had the whole thing. So yeah,
Hmm.
I know all about the strictness of,
mhm.
being under your parents' rule especially when they're not able to be there because they're out working or what have you.
I also love how schools wear uniforms, cuts down on kids being bullied for not having
That's
the.
true. That is an upside to uniforms. We were talking about uniforms
Uh,
earlier. Let us know in the
Kids
chat. Did
still
y'all
get
have to
bullied.
wear uniforms or did y'all get to wear your own clothes? I had a mix. I was uniforms in elementary and then from then on I got to wear what I wanted.
I feel like it don't matter. Kids still gonna get bullied if they don't wear uniforms. If they do wear uniforms, because I experienced bullying and we everybody wore uniforms.
Kids
Mm.
are mean.
Kids are
Kids are
mean.
just mean. I
Like
definitely experienced bullying, so
I used to always want to wear uniforms because I thought it was dope, and then I can pop out and show
I
blanks.
hated it. I hated wearing
I hated our
uniforms.
uniform. We had these ugly burgundy uniform, and this is, mind you, this is like first and second grade, and I just hated them. I was like, oh my god, these uniforms are so ugly.
Oh wow! Everybody
Especially with the
wore
fashionista that I am now. You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah.
couldn't.
But we're
There was
like
only so
fashion
much you could do with
forward. Not
uniforms.
everybody has that like style ability, and not everybody has the money to be buying clothes like that. My mom didn't even have money like that. She would give us a budget of $250. Me and my sister, 250 each to spend on back to school clothes, and back then that could get me a good. Because I was a great budgeter of that money, so that could give me a good 2 weeks worth of clothes. But now I don't even want to know how.
Can't even get school supplies for.
Right?
Kaylee said I wore uniforms in elementary, but it was nice and affordable. My mom would get different variations. Um,
Nice.
I just remember my grandmother was also a seamstress, so there was one
Lucky
that
you.
Right.
it was for my mom and them, not for us. By the time she got to me and my brother, Brand, she talking about, oh, Jesus.
Dang.
I also
I
remember
wish I knew how to sew. That would save me so much money.
For real.
And
even
do
that
my hair.
material might cost you just as much as going to go buy it.
I mean, true, but I feel like a good seamstress can work it. You know what I mean? They know
Mhm.
what they're doing.
So if you guys have young people that are going back to school, or shout out to my niece who started college this week. Shout out to
Yay, congrats.
yes, is be authentically yourself. And if that comes with having to walk alone because you don't have the MCM backpack, you don't have this, you don't have that, the
Ooh,
main thing is
MCM.
cannot take MCM backpack so bad, is the ability to take your education. So again, we are talking about and talked about back to school, from the fashion, the faux, to the height, to the districts requiring your kids bring school supplies for the whole classroom, which is so crazy to me that you got to take your sheets of paper and share it with that you don't like. Like, first of all, I don't. So why would I share my mechanical pencils? That's, you don't know what that is, Caleb. That's the thing you put the lid in and you pumped it.
Why
Okay.
are you always trying to now
Now
you
you
just be trying to
know
play people cuz how
because I didn't know what AIM is, which is like an ancient way
Okay, okay.
of
Whoa,
messaging
whoa, whoa,
people.
whoa. See, now y'all throwing down gauntlets. It's becoming like a
That's like right
millennial
next
versus
to
Gen Z
the
thing.
scrolls.
Thank
Y'all ain't gotta take it there.
right. Thank you all for just tuning in, especially as we are rebuilding, we're rebranding, we are reimagining, we
Yeah,
are
we trying out some new things, seeing
change.
how it goes.
Out to your plant in the back, Nisha. That shit is popping. That plant looks. I,
We gonna call it Sheila.
I like she.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, Sheila.
you'll get it later, Caleb. It's
He don't know. He don't know. But to Caleb's credit, he do his research. He'll do his due diligence. I
I mean,
be
he's
seeing
a
him.
music kid,
I
so
see him post old music on his page sometimes. He posted this song the other day, and I was like, "What you know about that?" And I was like, "Ooh, not me sounding like one of them."
What song was it?
I
it was.
can't remember. I wish I did. We're gonna have to go through your archives and I'll show you. But I was like, what do you know about this? I wish I could remember. It was something you would hear on 94.7 The Wave for sure.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, my
Some back to
my
school.
library is very extensive.
Eclectic, yeah.
Eclectic.
Some back to school motivation for our students, Nisha. I'll start with you.
Back to school motivation. Just do you, boo boo. But education is key. Reading is fundamental. So don't knock school and think that you're too good for school. Everybody benefits from an education. Education is so important, and I understand living in the times that we're living in. There is such almost like the stigma attached to school and even college and how expensive it is and all these other things. But I always be willing to be a student. That's just, not just a student in school, but just a student of life. It's so beneficial. It may not seem like it now, may be boring. You may hate some of the teachers, but just find the bright light.
Awesome. Caleb, give us some back motivation to our viewers, subscribers, listeners, and sharers.
I would say enjoy it. Like really enjoy it. Like had lived that high school experience, lived that college experience because it's going to fly
Oh
by.
my God.
I
In the blink of
remember
an eye.
when I was a freshman in high school, I was like, oh my God, I have a long road ahead of me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm here now. Like,
26, freshly
like
26.
when did I graduate? I graduated class of 2017.
Yikes.
Graduated
I'm
high
just gonna be quiet.
I graduated a whole 10 years prior to that, a whole decade before that. So,
But yeah, I thought high school was just gonna be like my entire life, but it's not. And also that high school is not your life. Like
yes, there's such an intensity
there's
like
life after high
like
school.
everything in high school is like life threatening and very dramatic. Like by the time you get in college, none of that stuff is not even going to matter. Like, and if your high
You're
school
not even gonna know
experience
half the people.
exactly. And if your high school experience hasn't been all it's cracked up to be, you could go to college and become a whole new person and totally shit on those people who said you wasn't gonna be nothing and wasn't gonna do nothing. It's gonna be, hi, look at me now. So there you go.
Mm.
My back to school motivation is class of
Hey,
'98.
come on, shout out class of 98.
I
I
was too.
was born in '98.
That
Caleb, now why you have to go and say something like that?
I didn't think you was gonna say '98.
talk to Rose. Don't come.
Shout out to '98.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to '98. That's the
Rose.
year I
Shout
was
out to
born
class of
to.
98 in
Bitch.
the house.
Wait, you said that's the year you was born?
Yes.
Yes. And knock the wind out you.
A body shot. Boom. My motivation will be finish. Y'all know my favorite line. Finish with the F you started. If you started this journey, why come this far? I don't care if you're in fourth grade. Why come this far just to tap out? I also want to motivate our educators and support our educators and our instructors from the elementary level to the junior high and high school, and even at the collegiate level, our trade school level, is support educators.
Yes,
And
you guys are so needed, and like especially good teachers, you're so needed.
good teachers are needed. Again, I am your captain, Coach Nita Watson. I got my co-pilots. You hear that, Caleb? So
Okay.
Okay. You was trying to give a little run. You was jogging.
oh,
Jog.
damn, not a joke.
But it's your boy Caleb Rashad.
It's Nisha Mishley.
And thank you all. Have a dope,
Thank
beautiful.
y'all for coming. Thank y'all for
We
commenting
so
and
appreciate y'all. Thank
interacting.
y'all for engaging with us.
Thank you
Please
to
come back.
Rose, K-Mish.
Not this Monday, but the next Monday. Please come back.